Justice League Europe, everybody. And I would like to talk about these two nut jobs today, Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. They are such a cool duo. They're like two cool friends. They're really funny. Blue Beetle's always getting himself into all these messes. So here is the two of them. So this is typically what their friendship is like. Care to make a little bet? You're on, and I think you're $10. And suddenly, Blue Beetle walks in, and Booster, Teddy, you old son of a gun! You are a sight for goggles. That was goggles, obviously, and they're both wearing goggles, as you can see. All right, so Booster is from the future. He's got this. Well, this is probably Elron, but he's got his own little robot telling him what to do, just like Cable has his watch. And this is Blue Beetle. This is Blue Beetle, and you might notice that his body is not quite as fit as Booster Gold's. He is notoriously, like, he's supposed to be one of these characters who doesn't have a really good bod. This is him out of uniform, and you can see that he's a little bit flabby. Right. I think it was supposed to go this way, yeah. So there's him again. He's a little bit of a tubby. Right over here, he's supposed to, yeah. So he's one of the very few superheroes in comics, and also he drives the plane. Like, if you like, why would we like Blue Beetle? If you like Spider-Man, if you like the Iron Spider, the guy who that's the version of Spider-Man who is under Tony Stark's tutelage. Blue Beetle, what are his powers? He doesn't really have a lot of powers. He's a really rich guy. He owns Cord Industries, and that was featured in Arrowverse, the crossover episode where Grant Gustin's Flash first comes to Star City to do some detective work. We saw some of Cord Industries, and I think we have seen that in other versions as well. Oh yeah, so all right, so why read Justice League Europe? Why go through these comics at all if they're bad comics? Well, I think that there's no such thing as bad comics. There's if you want to support comics, if you want to support print media is now dead, and I want to do a different section about this altogether, I guess. But yeah, I mean, people like Alan Moore or Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison, who wrote Animal Man, and Alan Moore was just like him at one point. He did Swamp Thing. So without Swamp Thing and all these other things, the industry is really, like, this is the backbone of the industry. So without this, it's like saying, you can't really like music and say, like, rap music is bad or whatever. Everything has to be appreciated, and I think this is a really funny ad because January of 1992, they're celebrating 1992, and it seems ridiculous to us because that was such a long time ago. But yeah, I think part of the important thing about reading comics like this is for the history of it all, because so in this particular con, Jim Lee and Neil Gaiman have been together, and that's Neil Gaiman's Sandman, I guess. Never read it, but yeah, it's important to know that if it weren't for readers of comics like these. People like that wouldn't have really gotten support either. I mean, they would have gotten support. So this is the plane. So if this team were the X-Men, this would be their X-Jet. And look who's got the controls. That's always Blue Beetle. These guys are hanging in the back, and he's the guy who's dropping him off. You know, stuff is actually getting serious. Like, this is one of the comics where you can see the seriousness in his face. Like, he's arguing right now. So they're Maxwell Lord. This is Maxwell Lord. Maxwell Lord's body has been taken over by this guy called Dreamslayer. And they're arguing about, like, whether they should kill the host to kill the parasite, or if they should, and then, Martian Manhunter and this one-time person called Silver Sorceress. It doesn't matter at all. Like, who is Silver Sorceress? We don't care. Anyway, this person, they're talking about how, like, how serious this situation is, how, like, this could be the end of the world. Like, they've seen their people die, like entire races, entire planets being destroyed, and they don't want this to happen to Earth. And the very next page, so there's this guy called Blue Jay, right? And they want him to scout out the area and see what's going on. And this is what Blue Beetle is all about. Hey, Jay, let me know if you see any of these native girls. I remember this gorgeous babe named Wahaluhaluhau. He just makes that name up. Obviously, he's lying. He's just being sarcastic and everything. And then they get shot at. Like, an arrow passes right by his head. And this guy doesn't lose his humor. He's like, but I never laid a hand on Wahaluhaluau. Then Rex is also funny. He's like, cut the jokes and move, Beetle. Oh yeah, so if you didn't get that, this is supposed to be a joke. And, Blue Beetle's actually a really funny guy. He's just like Spider-Man in Marvel. And cut the jokes and move. I can't cut them. They're in my contract. I get paid by the chuckle. Yeah, it's like, that's what Blue Beetle is known for, his jokes. And this whole issue is about, like, it's about Blue Beetle and Booster Gold hunting down a monster. Oh, this is another picture of their, so yeah, that's Booster and Beetle inside the ship, piloting the ship, and this is what the ship looks like. It looks like a giant blue beetle. And unlike Jaime Reyes, or the first one, like, there have been several incarnations of Blue Beetle, we like this one the most. Like, we really love these two guys. This is like, it's like, oh man, it's like one of the best things to come out of comics, in my opinion, was the friendship between Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. We've already seen Booster Gold in Smallville, and he was kind of a con artist. He wasn't a real hero. He was just, I think that's what it's supposed to be like in his actual story. Booster Gold was just, he was a faker at first. He just looked cool, and he became a celebrity in current Earth. He's from the future where nobody liked him. And, well, yeah, so basically that is, I would have gone through this entire comic if I had time. I think I might do that next episode. But yeah, this is Booster and Beetle for you guys. Anything I missed? I think I might have missed some stuff because, this is all impromptu. I don't actually write the stuff down or anything. But yeah, I would add it to the comments or whatever if there's time. And, if you guys love Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, please let me know what you think. And, like, it's like, I want to know what you love about Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. They are the best duo ever. It's like their costumes are so similar, and he actually looks like Buddy Baker for some reason too. And yeah, these dudes are the best thing about Justice League comics, and I would really love to see them on TV. And Blue Beetle, he's probably my favorite funny guy from the comics.